What is the biggest mistake supplement brands make when they're first starting into the market? I think the biggest mistake is not really thinking through what your product does, what you want your product to do, the claims that you're going to then use out in marketing once the product's actually on the market, choosing the right ingredients, choosing effective forms, making sure you have effective dosages. Depending on the type of dosage form, capsules versus gummies versus powders, there's a realistic limitations of how much of an ingredient, how much of a botanical can you fit in those and still make it effective. You want to make sure that all your doses are at effective level, because once you get out to the market, if your product doesn't work, people aren't going to buy it. They may buy it for a period of time, if you're very good at marketing, but long-term, people will not continue to buy a product that doesn't work. Step one is really talking about the claims, what you want the product to do. And this leads in, before we even start doing the custom formulation, these type of discussions are discussions that we have with clients. We want to know what you like, what your product's trying to do, what type of claims do you want to make in marketing. I mean, that's step one before we even choose a single ingredient. Step two, transitioning into the custom formulation. During that phase, we're sitting down again, before we even choose an ingredient, we're sitting down and looking at what's the intended purpose of this product? How do we meet these claims? How do we make this effective? And then we're transitioning right into research, and every formula we do, we put 10, 12, 15, 20 hours of research into just selecting ingredients. This is a step that's commonly missed in the industry. And sometimes we have clients coming to us too that say, hey, I want a product with magnesium, ashwagandha, lion's mane mushroom. And that's great. We love it when people come with ideas, but how does that relate to the claims that you're trying to make? What's going to be the effective dosage? Where are we going to get that ingredient from? How do we make sure in scenarios that if a client wants a capsule, we need to get high purity tested ingredients so that if you use it in a capsule, it's actually effective. I think the biggest part about this is you need to find somebody that represents your brand and is looking at your best interest. A lot of clients will push this off onto contract manufacturers. They'll go to contract manufacturers with a loose list of ingredients, and they'll say, hey, I want this product. Manufacturers will take those type of lists of ingredients and turn them into a formula. The problem is they're not doing that research. They're not typically looking at your claims and trying to defend your claims, and building a product that's truly going to be unique and effective. We work with a lot of manufacturers. We love them. They're great. But they're in the business to manufacture. They're not ultimately representing your brand and building you a product with these cool, new, unique, high-potency ingredients. They'll want to default to things that they have in stock, and those aren't always the most effective forms, So it's really just about having somebody looking out for your brand, building your product to your specifications and to your claims so that when this product does get into the marketplace, you can defend, justify those claims, and ultimately have an effective product.
Contact us today and let us grow your brand from idea to reality.